Chapter 3. Rise of the Steppe Warriors. While the Caliph desperately fights for survival, there is a power shift east of Baghdad in the region of Khorasan. The great Persian Empire of the Samanids has fallen, leaving in its wake the Ghaznavids, Khorakanids, and Oghuz, three Turkish tribes battling amongst each other for political and territorial dominance. Further south, yet another nomadic tribe has settled in search of pasture and security. These nomads were outcasts from the Oghuz and had settled in 985 CE in the city of Jend, a Muslim outpost on the fringes of the Islamic world. At the time, none could have foreseen that they would change the course of history. The leader of the tribe went by the name of Seljuk. Khwarazm, 1029 CE. The Seljuk tribe roams the length of the river known as Sir Darya, struggling to survive. For now, they have settled on the Persian plains to the south of the river. Not much is known about them. They have no land of their own they call home. A nomadic people, the Seljuks are always on the move, either looking for grazing land for their flock or for soft targets to raise, usually Byzantine or Armenian settlements in the Anatolian plateau. Today, the tribe's encampment is filled with high spirits and a sense of joy. One of the tribal chiefs exits his tent before an expectant crowd. The chief then proudly raises a newborn baby, sending the crowd into waves of rapture. This is an auspicious occasion, as the baby is the son of a prince and warrior. The Seljuk men shout out praises of Allah, only just drowning out the singing of the women. Muhammad, the son of Kagri, the son of Mikhail, the son of Seljuk, is the latest in a line of Seljuk princes. The tribe was named after the boy's great-grandfather, Seljuk, who had broken away from the parent Oghuz tribe and settled at Jend, south of the Sir Darya River. It is there that Seljuk accepted Islam, his tribe closely following suit. The reasons for his conversion remain unclear, but once a Muslim, Seljuk led many great campaigns for the Samanids of Persia and gained a reputation as a formidable warrior. As a result, his followers swelled in number, accepting both his leadership and his religion. Seljuk lost his son Mikhail early on, leaving him with two grandsons, Tugrul and Kagri, whom he raised with his own hands. At a young age, the boys mastered the art of horse riding, archery, and swordsmanship. In Tugrul, however, Seljuk saw leadership capability. As he approached his death, Seljuk appointed his grandson Tugrul to succeed him. He would prove to be a worthy successor. Although both Kagri and Tugrul were frequently engaged in bouts of deep reflection, Kagri was concerned with forging his son into a great warrior. However, Tugrul, a leader with great foresight, was thinking further ahead. He reflected on the legacy he would leave his nephew and children of his generation. Nomadism guaranteed a lifestyle of peril and instability. What the Seljuks needed was security and a solid base. Tugrul concluded that he must write to the Sultan of Ghazna, asking him to grant them some grazing land. In return, the Seljuks would help protect the northern frontiers from raiding Turkish tribes. The Sultan Mahmud of Ghazna should find this a reasonable proposal. Tugrul's reflections settled on the future of his newly born nephew, Muhammad. History would soon know him by a different name, Alp Arslan. The Seljuks find themselves sandwiched between the two main Turkic powers of the region. Filling the void left by the once prosperous Samanids, the Ghaznavids and the Khorakanids now wrestle for control of Persia and the regions of Khorasan. They employ the Seljuks as mercenaries, however, since a truce has been called between the two. The Seljuks are neither required nor wanted. The leaders of Khorasan have come to a decision. They meet in the city of Herat. The chief of the Oghuz tribe, the leader of the Khwarakanites, and the most powerful of the three, the Sultan of Ghazna, Mahmud. They decide that the northern frontier needs to be secured from raiding Turkish tribes, and the Seljuks need to be eliminated as they have become a strain on the limited grazing lands. The Oghuz had no qualms with the decision. Their relationship with the Seljuks had been mostly hostile since the latter abandoned them and settled in Jend. Sultan Mahmud is more interested in plundering the riches of the Indus. He has little time to manage events taking place in the north. The Seljuks have become expendable. And so began a long battle for survival for the Seljuks. For the next few years, numerous troops would be sent to wipe them out. Ghazna would send out its Mamluks, but each time the Seljuks would emerge victorious. Seljuk discipline, coupled with their familiarity with the harsh Khorasani conditions, Turkish field battle tactics, and the sheer desire to survive under the leadership of Tugrul would prove the difference. News of victories over the towns of Nasa and Sarax spread far and wide. Other Turkish horsemen began to join the ranks of Tugrul. The city of Merv became their base. Tugrul knew well that conquering a city and governing it was a far better strategy than pillaging it. His force was becoming larger and his confidence was growing. The news of Seljuk's success was also noted in Baghdad, where the Caliph Qayyum was monitoring events closely. Tugrul sent a request to receive a title, and with it, legitimacy from the Caliph. But there was yet to be a reply. The final battle for the control of Khorasan takes place close to Merv in the year 1040 CE. The Battle of Dandanakan is a battle for the very survival of the Seljuk tribe. The Ghaznavids have decided to eliminate the Seljuks in a decisive battle. An estimated 50,000 troops, along with the infamous Ghaznawi war elephants, were sent marching to squash their enemies. The Seljuks were estimated to be closer to 16,000 in number. Outnumbered by at least 3-1, it would take a stroke of tactical genius for the Seljuks to triumph. Tugrul enticed the Ghaznavids into open warfare by driving them into the desert. The Ghaznavids followed the Seljuks, assured that their numbers would guarantee them victory. During the long march, the Seljuks continuously harassed the army and managed to cut off their supply to water. Low in morale and high in thirst, the Seljuks finally pounced, resulting in a decisive victory. Khorasan was now theirs, and the great Seljuk Empire was in the making. It wasn't long before Seljuk control began to spread to the cities and towns. Soon the Seljuks received a plea from the Caliph himself. It was time for Baghdad to be liberated from the captivity of the Buyids. In 1055 CE, Tugrul defeated the Buyids and marched into Baghdad. The Shiite stranglehold was broken, and the Caliph was finally free. The Seljuk forces were given a hero's welcome as the people of Baghdad rejoiced at the sight of the Seljuk forces parading into city. Caliph Qayyum gave Tugrul the honorable title of Ruknuddin and the Sultan of the East and the West. The great Seljuk Sultanate was on the rise. Observing carefully was his young and maturing nephew, Alp Arslan. Trained as a warrior by his father and a strategist by his uncle, Alp Arslan was now ready to lead the Seljuks as old age began to take the better of his uncle Tugrul.